Hi everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek, and today I'm going to show you a new fold called the accordion fold. And this fold will be useful to make carnations, marigolds, or just a really cool looking flower. As when we do this fold, the colors, if you use two colors, they will intertwine with each other, and it just gives it a really cool effect. Okay, today I'm just going to be using the small board. However, you can do this on the large board as well. What we're going to do is we're going to preload all the holes. So we're going to preload row 1, closed, which means putting the zip tie in, giving it a little pull, and it locks. So the zip ties I'm using are 18 pounds. These ones are 6.5 inches. I like to use between 6 and 8 inches. And to use the zip ties, you put the tail of the zip tie through the head of the zip tie, the flat part, and you'll hear a little zip and it'll lock, and that will ensure that you're doing the zip tie correctly. If you can't get it through the head, just double check and look down to make sure you got it going the right way, because 99% of the time it's just going the wrong way. So we're going to totally preload closed row 1. And if you're using the large board, it will be row 2. So you would do all these sets of holes, so there's 16. And then when you get to row 2 or row 3 on the large board, you're going to preload them closed as well in the indicated hole. But you're also going to put a zip tie from this hole to this hole. Okay, because we are going to be putting a petal in there. We'll be using a zip tie and some hot glue. For those of you that like to use the drill, you can put another hole in with a drill right in the middle, and then it doesn't give you so much of a gap. I never drill. I just use zip ties, put my petal in, and then I will just use some hot glue. So that's how you're going to preload row 2. Or on the large board, row 3. So we'll do that all the way around. And then you're just going to normally preload row 3, and then normally preload row 4. So there's 4, 8, then you'll have 16 zip ties, and then 16 zip ties along row 1. Again, it's almost exactly the same on the large board, except you have row 1 on the small board is row 2 on the large board. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the large board. Okay, so when you're finished preloading your board, come back and we will start to make, I will show you how to make the petal. Okay? Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to make our petal. Now for this petal, you can use anywhere between 12 inches in length with a 10-yard roll, 10-inch roll, so it would be 10 yards by 10 inches. So the length is 10 inches. You can cut them for this fold between 12 inches to 16 inches, depending how full you want your flower. So if you do 16 inches, your flower is going to be really full. If you do 14 inches or 12 inches, it's not going to be as full. What I'm going to show you today is I'm going to cut mine at 14 inches, which is kind of in the middle. And I'm just going to be using 2 colors today. I'm going to be using this really pretty turquoise and a light blue. Okay. The better quality deco mesh you use, the better your flower will turn out. And if you heat seal, like wood burn, or bag seal your mesh for the ends instead of using a rotary cutter, that'll also improve the look of your flower. I know everybody doesn't have a heat sealer or wood burner, so I'm just going to, for this tutorial's sake, I'm just going to use my rotary cutter so you can see the results you get even if you don't wood burn it. So I do highly recommend that anybody making a flower does wood burn it. If you can see the edges. This flower is, you don't really see the edges, but you will see some of the strings. But at the end, you just cut those strings off that you see, and you should be good to go. So it's one of those half and half flowers. It's an anomaly. Okay, like I said, I'm going to cut my mesh at 14 inches. So I got both mesh on top of each other, so we can cut both at the same time. Okay, and my mat is 34 inches long. So I can cut 2 pieces at the same time. So I'm just gonna use my rotary cutter, and I'm gonna go at 28. Okay, and then I'm gonna go again at 14. All right, so there we go. We got 2 pieces of light blue and 2 pieces of turquoise. And I'm going to cut. You're probably going to use both rolls. I do have some already pre-cut and ready to go, but I'll just show you how I'm cutting it again. Now, if you only have a smaller cutting mat, that's fine. You can just cut it at each set at 14 inches. Okay, so I just put my little weight down to hold my mesh. So I'm cutting at 28 inches and 14 inches. Okay, so you want to cut, I would definitely cut 3/4 of each roll. And then I'm just separating them, and I will put the 2 colors on top of each other till I'm ready to use it. Okay, once your mesh is cut, then we're going to do the petal fold. So what you'll need is 1 piece of your mesh, whether it be the light blue or turquoise, doesn't really matter. You can use 3, 4 color combinations with this. Whatever you can even just use 1 and it'll look like one big beautiful carnation. Okay, so I have 2 clothespins here, and you do need clothespins for this just to keep your mesh in place for you. It just helps you have another set of hands, okay? So when you open up your 14-inch roll or piece, you're gonna open it up long ways, and it's gonna fold in on itself. So this is the curl up. This would be curl down. We're gonna use this as curl up right now. And what we're gonna do is, these are the finished edge. On the top and the bottom is finished. The right and left edge is where we've cut it with our rotary cutter. Okay, we are going to be folding it upwards. So we're gonna have a long piece. And what we're gonna do is meet the 2 corners of the finished edge and clothespin it, and then go along the edge and then clothespin it at the other side. So this makes sure that our mesh piece stays together, because this finished edge is the edge you're going to see in your flower. So we want to make sure that our piece is nice and even, and we won't see all this fray. Okay, once you got it pinned like this, so it's long ways and it's 14 inches long, okay, you're gonna put it in front of you. Now I'm just gonna move this clothespin just down a little bit so I can start here. What you're gonna do is fold it, and you can fold it about 1 inch. So if you're using on your mat, I can see from here to here is 1 inch. Just fold it about 1 inch, okay? And then you're gonna take it and fold it back the other side. Okay, and once you got the fold, you can actually fold it over and then scrunch it back so that you see that these are even. Fold it over, scrunch it back. So now we got 3 folds. Fold it over and scrunch it back again. Okay, and then when you want to make sure that your ends here, or the edges here, are all about the same size. And then what we're going to do is this folded edges down at the bottom, those are what's going to go into our zip tie. So when I hold the bottom part and open it up, it looks like a fan, a folded fan. Okay, this part we're going to put into our zip tie here. And what you want to do is, when you put it into the zip tie, you want to push down the middle so the right and the left splay out that way. And then you're going to do this up nice and tight, just like that. Okay, so you have a nice fold here. And then you can cut off your zip tie. So the next one we're going to do is a turquoise one. So for this one, I'm just alternating the two colors. So again, I'm going to open it up long ways, fold it up so the two finished edges are meeting together, close pin it, go to the side, along the side of this, the finished edge here, and then close pin it again to keep it together. Move this up a bit. Start off with about an inch. Fold it back. Now if it's easier for you if you just go back and forth like this, then try it like this until you get the hang of it. So just flipping it over and going back and forth. Doing it like this keeps your edges even as well, rather than the scrunching like I did the first one. But once you get the hang of it, you will be able to do the scrunching, and it is a little bit faster. So again, I'm going to take, this is the open end. You can see where the finished edge is. Where the closed ends are is where I'm going to put my mesh into. Again, very important to push this down and then zip it up. I like to use a needle nose plier to help me pull the zip ties, because sometimes the mesh is really, really thick, especially good quality mesh. This turquoise is a really good quality mesh, so it's a little bit thicker than a value mesh. All right, so we're going to cut that off. Now what you're going to do is we're going to open. So open this light blue one and you just put in. So it's two separate pieces. And then what you're going to do is we're going to open this teal one, and we're going to put the back petal of the teal one in between this blue one, like this. And then this one goes in front of this one. Once we get more on there, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Because once you start one row and you intertwine them, it looks like it's all, you've used 4 different pieces in one zip tie. I'll show you. Once we get this one on, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So again, I am using the small board. However, you can use the large. Okay. I'm just going to move that down. It's much easier to have the clothespins, especially if you're flipping over. So you're going back and forth. So I can take this one off. Got a stack here. There's the finished edge. These are the closed edge. Again, this is going in the zip tie. Press down right in the middle and then zip it up. When you press down in the middle, the right and left side will go to each of its own side. So you can see, so when I push down in the middle, the right side went this way, the left side went this way, and the center stayed in the center. Cut the zip tie tail off. I'm going to open this turquoise one and put the top of the blue, light blue, in the middle of the turquoise, and then this light blue is in the middle of the turquoise. And it gives it this intertwining look. Now it's really hard to tell since we only have 3 petals on, but keep doing that for all the way around row 1 or row 2 if you're using a large board, and just keep inserting as you're putting each color in. Keep inserting each one between each other. I don't know how else to explain it. We'll do another one. Okay, flip it up, back. So you're going back and forth. Once you got your fold established, you can actually scrunch to this fold comes up to meet this fold and then go down. And then you're making another fold, scrunch, and go down, scrunch. Now, until you get the actual fold going back and forth, once you got that down pat, you can try it this way, which is a little bit faster than going back and forth, back and forth. Again, we're putting the folded into the zip tie, pushing down in the center, and doing the zip tie up. When you push it down in the center, it forces the petal to come upwards. You're going to cut off your zip tie tail. Again, you're going to open, and we're going to put this light blue in between the 2 pieces of teal. So it actually looks like we have a piece of light blue sandwiched in between the 2 teal ones, because the ends of these light blue go right in the middle. So it's a bit, I don't know if you can see that, it's a bit hard to explain until you actually do it, or we actually finish it to see the look. So what I'm going to get you to do is continue on row 1 or 2 if you're using a large board, with alternating your colors. So if you're doing orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, do that all the way around and finish row 1, put them in between each other, and once you're done that row, come back and we will start on row 2 or 3 if you're the large board. Okay? So press play when you've finished this row of alternating your colors. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so your wreath should somewhat look like this once you get row 1 or 2 if you're using a large board, and you have it intertwined, the 2 different colors. So now you're going to go to the next row, row 2 or 3 on the large board. And for this one, we have a bit of a stretch here with our zip tie. So to do that, let me just put a few more of these in. What we're going to do is we're going to put one of our petals that we've made, just put it into the zip tie. So you're going to put it in, again, press it down, do it up, okay, as tight as you can. Cut your zip tie off, and then you're going to put a little bit, lift the tail up a little bit and put a little bit of hot glue onto the board and then push down. That will ensure that the mesh, even though it's still in the zip tie, it's going to stay, that petal is going to stay in place even if it's tugged or grabbed or anything. This one, you don't have to do glue. You can just put in your mesh, push it down, pull it tight. Still doing your alternate colors and opening it up and inserting the 2, intertwining here. Okay, this one is going to be a light blue. Put it in, press it down, do it up, snip your tail off, open it up, Again, we're putting the two colors in between each other, just like that again. So you're going to continue just like that around row 2. So when you have these big long, the long wide gapped zip ties, do it up. Snip your tail off. Take your hot glue, lift your tail up, put a little bit of hot glue underneath it, and just hold down for a few seconds, and that'll ensure it's going to stay there. So you're going to continue like that. So I have to put some long zip ties in here, and then these ones all the way around. So when you flip it over, this will look totally complete circle on row 2 or 3 on the large board. Okay, and then when you're done that row, then you're going to continue on with this row, which is row 3 or 4, and then row 5 or 4 on this one. You can either put a pre-made center and make it like a totally different flower look, or you can continue on with row 4 with your petals. So you would continue on putting them face the tail inwards, and you would continue with alternating the color. So you take your tail, put it in, smush it down, and do it up. Now once you have all 4 of these in there, when you open this up, this will all fill in the center, just like the picture you see at the beginning of this video. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now you can add leaves to it if you want, green leaves, but if you're doing a blue flower like this, I'm not how sure that the green leaves would look. I think it looks pretty just like this. So if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us at info@uniqueinthecreek@hotmail.com, and join our Facebook page, Unique in the Creek at Facebook, or Unique Wreath Makers and Workshops, where we have tons of creatives in there that will give you plenty of ideas on what you can do with all your boards and different ideas. They have such a talent in that group. It's just phenomenal. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to see your accordion petals done on your flower. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.